What's going on, traders, and welcome to this special episode where I'm going to teach you how to get started with M1 Finance. So as day traders, we're all heavily involved in the intraday time frame when it comes to watching the market. We might make trades that last between 5 seconds, a couple minutes. Some of us make trades that last a couple days. Swing traders might make trades that last a couple weeks or even months. But I think it's really important that we have some longer term goals with our money. And one of those goals that I have is to retire comfortably at a nice age. So to do so, I have a retirement account, and one of which is a Roth IRA, which I hold here at M1 Finance. That's why I'm going to be doing this review today. So one reason that I like M1 Finance, right off the bat, they're going to tell you here, smart money management, and it certainly is smart. They offer zero commission trades, and also possibly the most important piece, in my opinion, is the ability to buy partial shares. Now, I'll explain more of that later, but right now I would like to mention that I do have a referral code to get a free $10 if you decide to sign up and use M1 as your brokerage. Just go ahead on into the description and click the link there. Full disclaimer, I will also get $10, so if you don't want me to get a free $10 from you and you also don't want a free $10, that's perfectly fine. You do not have to use the code. I just wanted to put it out there and offer you guys some free money. Let's get started though. If we scroll down to the bottom, this is one of the most important things. They're going to give you some information about the brokerage right off the bat, all this stuff. But I think the most important stuff is all the way down here at the bottom. So right off the bat, you can see the first paragraph in the footer of their website is their terms of use and privacy policy, as well as the full disclosure. So this to me is really important because a legitimate brokerage is going to have this very clear and easy to find. If they were someone who were shady, you might not want to keep your money with them, then they're going to bury this, and they probably have some shady things going on in the terms of use. They might have some hidden fees associated with not using the account, and they're going to ping you for all sorts of stuff. But no, M1 puts this all right up front in the first paragraph. The second most important thing, in my opinion, right here, this second line, where they go on to say that they're a registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA and SIPC. Essentially, they're saying, and if you click into each of these links, you'll be able to read more about it, but your money is insured up to $500,000 due to both of these memberships. Right underneath, you can see it says products are not FDIC insured, no bank guarantee, may lose value. That's just saying, of course, your investments may lose value. You're not guaranteed to make money in the stock market, but if there were some sort of catastrophic failure at M1 Finance where something went terribly wrong, your money is insured up to that $500,000 based on these two memberships like we talked about. So scrolling back up to the top, I'm going to sign in and fast forward through that, and we're going to talk about how to use it. Alrighty guys, so not if, but when you sign up with that referral code and log in for the first time, this will be a screen that you are presented with. We are clearly in the investment section of M1, and in the submenu you can see we're looking at the portfolio tab. Right off the bat, I do want to mention that this circular thing here is considered a pie, and your pie is made up of slices, and slices are essentially just companies. If I hover over one here, you can see it is AT&T. At a dollar value of $127.55. I could go through and show you all of them this way, but it's much more convenient to just scroll and show you over here. This is the name of the company. This is the value in terms of dollar amount. This is the dollar gain and percent return. And then actual versus target is something pretty important that we'll cover as we continue out through video, but just keep it in mind that, for example, the 2060 moderate, which is this long pointy one here, is set to 1%, but is actually holding 6.4% weight in my portfolio. So just keep that in mind. It'll make more sense as we continue throughout the video. Up at the top, an investment tip for you is that I highly recommend you name your investment accounts. It'll give you a personal connection, or in my example here, it'll give me a constant reminder to watch out for things that might not look right. This portion of my retirement holdings is a little bit more risky than the rest of them, so I think it's important to remind myself to constantly be on the lookout for things that don't look right. But again, if you make a personal connection with it by naming it, it'll keep you more motivated to see the green numbers here, keep making contributions, and not just think of it as this boring thing that you have to check in on month after month. So there's a tip for you. Underneath, or to the side rather, you can see that I can look at the day's data, which of course there's not enough to display. The day's not over. The week's data, today's a Monday, not much there. Month, quarter, year, or all. I like to just leave it on all. That way I have a general overview on how my account is doing as a whole. To the left here are some of the most important buttons that you'll have to interact with here on M1 Finance, and we're going to go through them in reverse order, starting off on Edit. So if I go ahead and click on Edit, you'll see it loads all of my holdings here on the left. Of course, at the top, this isn't anything fancy. If I click check all, obviously it checks all, and I can equalize, remove, or add And those are all things, bulk actions that we can do there. Something I want to point out before we get into the weeds here is at the bottom we see this total at 100%, and we need to make sure our circular pie is at 100%. Otherwise, M1 won't let us go through with the action we're trying to take. So for example, if I drop this down, AT&T here, from 4 to 3%, total's at 99%, and up here you can see this changed. It won't let me continue. It's just reminding me, hey, make your pie 100% before you continue. So I go ahead and do that, and then I can save. I don't want to make any of those changes though, so I'm not going to do any of that. Instead, I want to cover this add button, which is arguably one of the more important buttons here. So I go ahead and click on it. And this is where you can search for slices, aka companies, to add to your pie. It's going to show you on this little home page here some of the more commonly known companies. For example, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Facebook, you name it. Some things, I'm sure you've heard of most of these. Let's say I do want to look for something that's not here though. I can just come up here and type by company name or ticker name. I'm going to click UL for Unilever, which is a common household name. And this is going to show me some more information about Unilever. So we have the ticker symbol here, UL, the name of the company, Unilever, the price per share. Right now it's trading at $57.30 a share. Today's action, it was down 39 cents, which equated to a 0.68% loss on the day. No big deal though. UL is a long-term player. Underneath that, it's going to show us some information about the fundamentals of the company. These are things you might want to consider depending on your investment strategy for the longer term. These are some of the more important ones. That's why they're highlighted up here at the top. But underneath over here to the right, you can see there's a little bit more and some of the more recent news about Unilever. On the right, we see a line chart and we can adjust it to look at 5 days, a month, 3 months, 6 months, even 5 years worth of data. This D down here, as you can see when I hover over it, just means a dividend was paid out on that day. So let's just say I do want to add UL to my pie. I'm going to go ahead and click add to basket. So boom, and you can see down here it populates, and I could have the option to add, but let's say I want to add another one. Let's say I want to add TJ Maxx company. So TJX, it shows up here. Again, it's going to give me the same information. Options for the line chart are going to be very similar. Dividends, so on and so forth. News. I'm going to add this one to the basket as well, and this is how you can bulk add companies to your pie. So I go ahead from here and click on add. And you'll see up at the top, TJX is at 0%. That's because I haven't allocated any percent to it yet. Let's say I want to bump it up to 2%. I can do that, but now you see, again, we're over that 100%. So I need to take 2% away elsewhere. So I could, for example, take away a percentage from AT&T, another one from Chevron Corporation, and now we're back to 100%. I think I already own some UL. That's why it didn't show up. But again, it would have showed up should you be adding that for the first time. I don't actually want to make any of these changes, so I'm going to go ahead and click exit, but if I did, I would just hit save. Now, when I was talking about the percentage allocation down here, when we first looked at this homepage, I just wanted to bring that up because if I hit the rebalance tab, you'll see here, it's going to trade all of my positions that are underweight and bring them up to weight, and then everything that is overweight and sell them down to normal weight. So I don't want to do that. But if this is part of your strategy, just know there's a one-click button for it here. You just click rebalance and then confirm it. And then, for example, this 6.4 allocation will drop down to the actual target percent, which is 1%. I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to do that. If I wanted to buy and sell the whole pie, I can do so by clicking buy and sell. I'm going to go ahead and click. You'll notice it says watch the nonconformist at the top. That's because I'm buying and selling the whole pie instead of an individual slice. So if I click in $50 here, it's not buying $50 of each individual company that's in the pie. It's buying $50 distributed based on my percentage allocations. Again, I don't want to do this, but if I did, I would just hit continue. I could do the same thing for sell. Again, not looking to do that at the moment, but I will give you an example. Let's say you do want to buy an individual slice, aka company. You could just go ahead and click on it here. So I'm going to click on it in the pie. And now we're also given this buy and sell option. I'm going to go ahead and click buy and sell. And now instead of at the top it's saying the whole thing, watch the nonconformist, you'll see I'm just buying and selling this 20/60 moderate slice. So I do actually want to buy some of this. I'm going to go ahead and type in $100 there and click continue. It's going to ask me to confirm. And then here you'll see this is going to go through at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Essentially, because we're able to buy partial shares, that means all of our money is pooled together and M1 makes one big purchase at 10 a.m. This M1 Plus here means that if you do want to pay extra and have the ability to trade at 3 p.m., so an afternoon session, then you can do that there. But I think, given the long-term nature of this, it's not going to really matter if we buy at 10 a.m. versus 3 p.m. on the same day. So I do not think that's worth it. I'm going to go ahead and click confirm. I do want that to go through. And you'll see on the next page, it's been submitted, done. Now at the top, we do have a pending buy of $100. I'm going to go back to the portfolio, and again, down here it now says upcoming trades. I can view the details, but essentially I have 16 buys, which are all contained in this 2060 moderate fund. And now you can also see this green dot here on it, which indicates that there is a potential trade coming up on that company or slice. The next tab we're going to look at is the activity tab. So I go ahead and click on that, and you're going to see all these dividend payouts. That's just because I have a lot of dividend holdings here. And essentially, you can filter this out. Let's say I don't want to see all these dividend information. You can see my orders. I had a trade here where there was 20 buys. The order was fulfilled, and I can go ahead and click into this and learn more about that specific instance. It's also going to show your deposits, so on and so forth. Holdings, very self-explanatory. It's going to tell you the name of the company that you're holding, how many shares, what price is your average, what's your cost basis, and how much that's valued at, and the unrealized gain. I haven't sold any of my stuff, so it's all unrealized, not realized at the moment. Again, partial shares, very important. For example, here I'm holding 0.72648 of a share of J&J. Obviously, I could have just bought a couple of shares of it, but that would have maxed out almost my whole portfolio. I don't want to do that. Instead, it's better to diversify. Having this partial share ability is key. Again, you can see down here, I own a total of 59 companies or slices. My total costs here and my total unrealized gain in terms of whole dollars and percentage. Funding history is just going to show you how you are doing in comparison to the yearly limit on IRAs. So in 2019, they upped the limit by $500 from $5,500 to $6,000 of contributions being allowed. You can see I've only done $2,000 worth of that in this specific account. So this is just where you can sort of keep tabs on where you are in terms of that. Bank connection here, the next tab will show you what banks are connected to your account. I'm not going to go ahead and show you my personal information there, but this is where you would connect your bank and fund your account. The next one, this one here is very key. It's the auto investment option. I'm going to go ahead and click and walk you through this stuff here. So right off the bat, it's going to do a little description here, but I'm just going to run through it. So if I click auto invest all of my cash, anything in excess of $10 will essentially be put into my whole portfolio, not each individual slice, but the whole portfolio based on my percentage allocations. I don't want that to happen, and this is how you have some of the least control over your money. I would not recommend this unless you want a totally hands-off approach to investing. The next one below is pretty good. It's going to allow you to save or reserve a certain amount of cash just in case there's a certain market slide or a buying opportunity that you're waiting for. Let's say I want to reserve $500 worth of my money, and anything over that $500 will be automatically invested into my whole portfolio or pie. Again, not each individual slice. So I don't like that option. I like full control. You could call me a control freak, but I don't want M1 to invest any of my cash for me. I want to make all the decisions myself. Therefore, I leave auto investing off. The next one to the right of that is to deposit cash. If I wanted to make a deposit, I could just select what account I want it to come out from, what bank account that is here, and move it to which account. I have a few here. You can see my banks are there, and then my other account here is just sort of like a play account, if you will. It's only got 128 bucks in it, but that's, again, how you can choose where you want your money to go. I don't want to make a transfer at the moment, so we're going to escape that. And again, this tab here is just how you can flip between which account you want to look at. So that's just a basic overview on how M1 Finance works, how its pieces work. One thing I do want to cover real quick, actually, is if we go into Edit and go into Add, this is a very key portion of M1 Finance. It's this Expert Pies section here. If you have no idea what you're doing in the market, say you're new and you just know that getting into the market is something that's very important for retirement, I would highly recommend that you come and look at some of these Expert Pies. So we're just going to click Plan for Retirement, and from here you see there are a few options. If I want to be super aggressive, because I know the market is a great place to make money and I think it's just going to take care of all my dreams, then I'm going to go ahead and be super aggressive. I can choose this 2020 aggressive fund. If I want to be conservative or moderate, I can choose so also if I'm skeptical about the market, because this is my first time here. So these are pre-made pies for you. These are sort of target dates. You can see I was a part of the 2060 moderate, which was essentially the target date where I plan to be retired by, if that gives you any indication of my age. Anyways, so Expert Pies, very important if you have no idea what you're doing or want to just have someone else take some of the thinking out of it for you. General investing, different options here as well. so on and so forth. I would highly recommend you explore some of these options if you don't want such a hands-on approach to investing. That's going to wrap up this episode of How to Get Started with M1 Finance. Again, the referral code is in the description if that's something you're interested in. I wish you all a green trading week as we continue throughout the rest and finish up the year of 2019, and I wish you all a profitable year in 2020. Let's get started with our longer term investment goals. Let's start using M1. Let's start investing in ourselves and our futures. I'll see you in the next one.